Welcome back to the Quintessential Conversations. We have a special guest with us today, Smooth Lettuce.
That's me.
How
That's
you feeling
me.
today, sir?
I'm feeling quite well. How you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh,
A little
dude.
tired, but you know what? You still gotta do it.
Right on. Right on. Absolutely.
Right.
What about you, Wiley?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. I do appreciate being here in this.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
said, it is difficult getting people to show up here sometimes. And
I just
stuff.
materialized, man. I learned how to teleport the other day, and it's coming in handy. It's working out.
Hell
Shoot,
yeah.
I can use that skill too.
Right on.
I got a couple questions. I got a handful. I made this up on the spot.
Excellent.
We did a deep dive in your life and everything, so
Oh,
we know everything
man.
about you right here.
Perfect. Perfect.
So, who is Smooth Lettuce?
Dude, Smooth Lettuce, I guess, is the music project of Caden Bailey. That's my name. Yeah, a little bit of everything. Music, poetry, I mean, like digital art, you know, I paint sometimes, but it's mostly the music side, the audio side.
Yeah. To ask you kind of a broader question, what does music mean to you?
I think for me, it's always been like a form of expression. I like it because it's open ended. So I think it's cool because when it comes to like expressing my emotions, like positive or negative, I don't like to have a straight shot like this is what this has to mean or like this is precisely how I'm feeling and I want to give you every detail. Like I don't want to give every detail because I don't even know every detail. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I love that outlet is because you can listen to words, you can listen to melodies. Everything has a different feeling. You can equate it to a different part in your life. Like when people talk like, oh, this is the song of the summer because a song like sounds like summer. It can mean so many different things and hold so many different contexts depending on where you're at in your life and where the listener's at. And I think that's why I like that really resonates with me a lot, you know.
It's a very good answer.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know
AI came up with it for me.
I know when you did like your when he was interviewing you for the gifted character, you were like,
Mhm.
we were me and Caleb were watching. We're like, dang, that's a really good answer.
Thank you.
They're pretty detailed. So.
Hey, what can I say, man?
Yeah.
Smooth lettuce, man.
A follow up to kind of that question that you kind of answered, but what was your reason for starting music?
I don't even remember starting. It's one of those things that just always was. Like I would just, whenever I was little, and it's my profile picture on Instagram, and I was like 7 years old, and I had like a little, some like toy DJ decks with a little keyboard on the bottom. I was like 9, 10 years old playing with like little drum pad apps on the phone. You know, it's like whatever. So it's always, yeah. Repeat the question. I'm sorry. I kind of went off on my own
What
little.
was your reason for starting music?
Yeah, man. That's a good. I don't know. I think I literally just picked it up and did it one day. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things like what's your reason for like drinking water? It's like, oh, dude, I just tried it and I like it. And it's
So
like,
it's
I don't
just
even
kind
remember.
of part of who you are.
Yeah, exactly. It's ingrained in me. Like it's not even conscious. It's like I have to do it. It's muscle memory. It's like breathing, which sounds so corny. I love music so much, man. It's like breathing. I just don't even like seriously. I actually. It's not even something that I think about consciously. It just flows. I just have to.
That's a great thing.
Some of those like older softwares you said you had, like, was there like certain apps you said you used and stuff that would like do, like loop, and then that kind of transition to like DJing?
Yeah, because I was doing like the DJ apps on like my mom's like Samsung tablet when I was 11 years old, you know, but it was always like that. Like I'd have my little like broken screen like iPhone 3GS. I'm sure like a couple like drum pads where I'd like smack on like whatever, they come up with little beats and like just always stuff like that. Because I didn't get FL Studio until like December 2018, like January 2019 is when I actually started like producing on a computer. I was, oh, okay, this is how people do it. Like usually, you know. Yeah, I mean, you can make music on anything, but this was back in the day before. Like nowadays, yeah, you can make full records on a phone. This was kind of before that got like super accessible. So if you wanted to kind of get nitty gritty, then it's like you're better off like using a computer. So that's how I. But before that, dude, it was everything. And piano. My dad was really like piano synthesizers and stuff. So I was always like playing synthesizers or messing with sounds or drum pads or whatever from the time I could walk, basically, you know. So
Yeah. Kind of piggybacking off of something you just said. How do you feel about the current accessibility of music?
I think it's great because I think that the less limited things are, I think the better it is just for the art. Because I think, you know, everybody has ideas, And I think that people are starting to realize that, if that makes sense. Because I know that,
Yeah.
like, if you put like a technical ability like threshold on it, then you're gonna have so many people who like don't feel like they can, which is so silly. And sometimes I'll talk to like some of my friends, like, oh, bro, you should try making music. It's like, no, I don't. I don't have it in me. Like, I'm not creative enough. It's like I'm not that talented. But it's got nothing to do with that. So yeah, I think it's awesome. Like that you can whip out a phone and just like, you got like the rappers, and like you got these cats on BandLab, like they're speaking into their like wired, Apple headphones, and they're making like good stuff. Like they've got skill, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, like David, for example, he's great at
mhm,
that. And I think there's kind of like somewhat of a balance between how kind of accessibility kind of breeds innovation, but also looking at it from a oversaturation problem. But I feel like when it
exactly.
comes to like the expressive arts,
hmm
oversaturation not isn't always a bad thing as long as innovation is still there.
And I think and honestly, I feel like all that's mental too. Is it's like oversaturation is only real from a business perspective, but from art, I'm never worried about what somebody else is doing. If anything, I'm joyous about what some. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So like, I can totally get that. Like, I'm trying to promote my music, but so is everybody else, and it makes it harder to get out there. And so yeah, I can understand like frustration with that. You know what I mean? With like algorithms and yada yada yada. But like when it comes to just the creation, bro, oversaturated all day, because I don't think there's like, we're all just kind of, the way that I see it, it's like picking fruit off of a tree. It's like people have their own original ideas. You can claim things as your own, and you can come up with things, but it's like we're taking energy from the universe. Like it's not. So I don't look at it like that. Like it's everybody has something to say, and everybody expresses something, even if a lot of it is similar, and and it can feel saturated. It's like, oh, a lot of people have the same message to spread, dude. They've all got their own little flavor. You know what I'm saying? You ever go to the store and you buy a thing of vanilla ice cream, but there's different brands, like Breyers or like store brand. It's all vanilla ice cream, but it all tastes like a little bit different. It's like same deal. It's like, yeah, the market's super saturated, but there's a certain tint, there's a certain flavor for everybody that somebody's gonna like more than others, and it'll resonate more. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's a great way to put that. And
I appreciate it.
me and Jake were reading up on Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being.
hmm
And he talks about that. He's like, sometimes the idea is just in the ether or whatever you want to call it.
hmm
And like you said, fruit on a tree. The fruit is ripe, and when it's ripe, you can't just wait to pick it. Someone might go up and pick it. So it's like oftentimes like, oh, I just had that idea and somebody did it first.
hmm
But it's like that idea is just kind of there, and it's your job to kind of take the fruit and make your own thing with it. You can
Right.
just eat it
Exactly.
by itself. You can make a pie. You can make a
Exactly.
smoothie.
But it's
But
still an
it's like,
apple.
and that's kind of like where the expression leads into it too.
It's a beautiful thing, for sure.
So you said you make beats a little bit too.
Yeah, beats and like EDM songs and whatever genre. Yeah,
There's one question
production.
I usually ask people who make beats, or there's like I guess it's like a threshold or so where you're using samples and stuff, where
hmm
like Kanye or stuff, and you take someone else's portion of a song and make it to something completely different.
hmm
How do you feel about like when, try to word this as best as I can, like almost stealing it, but then you're kind of lengthening the amount of like it actually being stolen. But then you got
Right.
like people who play a piano. It's like, well, it's coming from the
And they came up with
piano,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
or you make your own voice. Then it's truly like yours in a way.
I
And it
love
makes
I
sense.
love this question because I could rant all day about this because I've been through multiple phases of it. Where like at first I did think like if you're using loops or whatever, and then it's like it's cheating, or if you're using sample, because I had like my sound design phase when I was like 17, where I was going into Serum like trying to make every sound from scratch. I made some cool stuff, and I still do from time to time. But honestly, man, it's just like I said. I think you kind of have to kill the idea of originality, because if you're making art, like if your only goal is to separate yourself from everybody else, you're gonna be doing so much thinking that that's not creating anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and there's like a little, I guess, parable, for lack of a better word, that talks about that, where it's like, and talks about how funny it is whenever people talk about like sampling or like loops or whatever is cheating. Is it's like, I was playing, a drum kit the other day, but then I didn't like I was using the sticks, and I felt like they're pre-made sticks. That's cheating. So I went outside and like chopped down a tree and got the wood and made my own sticks. But then I'm hitting this drum head, and I feel like that's cheating. So I went out and like got some metal and like skinned a goat, and then like made you get my, and
Yeah.
then well, I haven't been playing a lot of drums lately because I've been too busy chopping
Mhm.
down trees and skinning goats to make the head of the snare and all. And it's like it's the same thing as, it's like I like to make it my own. I use presets and samples all day. I don't really use loops like straight out the box the whole time unless it's like percussive stuff to tuck into the background. But dude, yeah, I use presets and like samples and whatever all day because, and honestly, by the time I'm done with them, you can't tell what it came from.
Mhm.
But not that that matters. It's just kind of like it's you know, it's the same idea as like doing a podcast, like sitting in a room with people, or like at a church whenever you go and you listen and you're having, or like a therapy, like a group therapy session, and everybody's bouncing ideas off each other. It's the same thing. Like I'm sure that I could sit down and freaking interview myself one day and just ask myself questions, but you're gonna hit a dead end, so you need other people to bounce ideas off of. Same thing. I mean, if I'm making a song, it's like, oh, I would like a tambourine right now. Like I could sit there and do my own tambourine thing, or I can go on Splice and find a tambourine loop
Mhm.
and then like EQ it or reverse it or do something cool, and I'm still getting my message across. It's just a little bit more efficient because somebody else put it out there for me to use. Like that's what it's there for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a difference between using, let's say, a sample as a tool versus like just completely taking it
Yeah,
and
exactly,
using it.
exactly.
We talked about it a little bit. Austin Klein had a really good book called Still Like an Artist.
Hmm.
And it was more in the graphic design painting spec, but I think a lot of it applies to music.
Hmm.
Where there's definitely a difference between copying and using something as inspiration and then using it to create your own thing or your own spin or twist on it.
Hmm.
Because, like you said in your interview for the Get Creativity, what really is originality?
Hmm. 100%, 100%. Yeah, it's all. I like to think like we're all borrowing ideas from the universe, and like I guess it can sound kind of pessimistic depending on how you frame it, but okay, like just like the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun, and that is
Mm.
true. Is things can take new form, and people are like, "Oh, well, I haven't heard that before." You might not have heard it like that, but it's like every chord and every melody I could ever write has probably previously been written by somebody, but it's the soul and like the DNA in the music that makes it different and makes it unique. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So it's like, oh, I've heard that chord before. Well, yeah, but you bet you never heard it played on a electric piano that I ran through a guitar amplifier
Yeah.
and put a narrowband EQ on and then put like a quarter note delay on it and reversed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so dude, everything's been done before. You just have to find a way to do it again. I love doing like mangling a sound to the point where it's like you're just like oof, like printing. That's like a totally different subject. That's like more like technicality stuff, but I love doing that.
Yeah. Just like, people sing the national anthem before
Yeah,
so many
exactly.
sporting events, but how many of them sound the exact same?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
who was it? They did a really cool rendition that people were mad at, but it was so good. I want to say it was Marvin Gaye, but I'm not sure. That's the one I'm thinking about. But
Oh,
like,
dude.
completely rearranged the music for it, sang the national anthem, and it was like, we've heard it so many times, but we haven't heard it like this.
Hmm.
And you got people like Fergie, and then they're like,
And it's neat because here we are talking about it. So obviously, like they did their job. You know what I mean? It's like they're like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Probably should have asked this earlier, but how did you get the name Smooth Lettuce?
Oh, dude. Literally, I wish I had like a cool story, like to have secret meaning or something. It doesn't. Literally, all it was, my cousin, shout out Chase. I was on his phone. This was like before I had Snapchat on my own cell phone because I was like 13 or something. And I had like the big mouth filter that'll give you like the googly eyes and the big mouth or whatever. This is like 2017, 2018. I just like I was trying to make memes. I was in middle school, so this whole thing's gonna be like incredibly cringeworthy. I was trying to make memes, so I could have said like any combination of words that didn't make sense. Like I could have said like hot sauce lizard or something like that, But I was just coming up with random phrases or doing random little skits, I guess. And I just like zoomed on my face. I was like smooth lettuce, and because it sounds funny, like it just sounds like goofy funny, and then I made it my handle on Instagram. Then when I started making music, I was like, well, I reckon I won't change the handle for music. I'll just keep the smooth lettuce bit. I wish it was like a certain thing where it's like, oh, I've heard things before like smooth lettuce, like that can mean like easy money. I was like, you know what? That's tough. Or like people would be smooth lettuce. Is that a weed thing? No, it's not. It's literally nothing.
Can lettuce even be smooth?
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, yeah. People say like, can lettuce be smooth? I don't know. I just work here. You know what I mean? I don't even like the lettuce food all that much. I mean, it's okay. It's kind of like it doesn't have a taste. It's just like crunchy liquid. Basically, it's a good little placeholder, man. It's like a good little vehicle for some chicken and some
Salads.
some what's that word? Dressing. Yeah, dude. Put some dressing on there. Salad construction. You know what I'm saying, dude?
I mean, it's funny because we got the name Quintessential completely random. I'm like, well, Jake has a alternate name. I have one. I'm like, Colby, our third member. I'm like, you need one, and I was like, Quintessential, and then we spelled it super weird. The original one, the one we have right now, was not the original. And Jake was telling me like, he was like, that's a stupid idea, and now it's like to a lot of to a lot of people that word means a lot more now because like it's kind of like the word slowly gave itself meaning as we kind of just moved and did what we did and chased our dreams. So now it's something that was laughable at the start is now something that is held in a lot higher regard.
It forms its own aesthetic for sure. It's got like its own context, which I think is cool. Because like the whole, I'm not saying that I started this, by the way. There's like plenty of people that did it before, but like because it's stylized like all lowercase, or like there's no spaces and there's no capitals or whatever. I think that's cool because then I look at like some of like the hyperpop artists of like the last 5 years, and like that's a thing. Like for song titles or for artist names, like it's all lowercase, and say, oh, that's cool. So you can like find a space that you fit in, like. But I don't really want. I guess that's something too. As I guess the smooth lettuce bit, it doesn't really sound like associated with a certain genre, which is cool, which is kind of why I kept it, honestly. Like if I would have like called like if I had like a metal name or something, if I was like the death of hamburger meat, then it's like, well, that kind of limits what I can sound like.
True.
Well, not actually, but it's like in your mind, it's like, oh dude, when you think of that, you think of blah blah blah. So like I like open-ended stuff like that. So smooth lettuce, what does that mean? Dude, I don't know. A little bit of everything, yeah.
What do you think?
What do you think? Exactly.
That's what that means.
There you go.
Piggybacking off of that, do you ever feel like you have a certain genre that people expect from you, or do you feel the freedom to kind of make whatever you want?
I feel the freedom to make whatever I want just because I've over the first few years I like freaked out on every like genre that I could have done. Like it was like because I guess I don't know if I've ever told you about this, but I started like rapping like first, like before I made beats, I rapped. And like my first like smooth lettuce music ever, it was me on somebody else's beat rapping. Then I learned how to make my own beats. I rapped on top of those, and kind of in between that, I would like make little EDM tunes and stuff. I stopped rapping for the most part and did like more like indie rock stuff, pop stuff. I mean, I do more like production centered stuff, so I guess it's fair to say that it's going to be expected something like in the like electronic landscape, but I don't think there's any. I mean, I don't know what people like think about when they think of that, but it's like something electronic, but no further label than that, I don't reckon, because you can do like electro pop or indie or dubstep or future bass. I try to incorporate a lot. Like there's this one project that I put out at the end of 2023, which I'm in the process of getting remastered right now. I'm going to put it back out, but it's called You Can't Take the Sky From Me. And it's that sort of thing. It's like, it's an electronic EP, but it's not, if I had to pick, like if I had to nail it down, I'd say like hyper pop-ish, like trap-ish, like future bass sort of thing, like very Skrillex inspired and that sort of thing. But it's like, I don't pigeonhole it, me personally. And I don't know what, I'm going off on a tangent now, but yeah, it's I don't know like how other people perceive it, but me personally, it's like, I don't know. I try not to think about it that way. Like I never want to sit down and be like, okay guys, today we're going to make a house song. It's like, because then I'm just going to create something I'm not going to be happy with, because you set that expectation in your mind, you know what I mean? I try to create with no expectation. Like I don't, it always weirds me out when I sit down and I'm like, this is what I'm going for. Because when it comes to something like art, it's like, you don't want to calculate, it's not a math problem. Sit down and do what you feel. Come up with what it is after. Like a label is a label because you put it on something. You put a label on a package to determine what the package is. You don't, you know what I'm saying? You create the label for the package, not the package for the label. So like whenever like I'm working on something, what should I name this song? Freaking doesn't matter, dude. I'll figure that out when I finish the song, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, yeah. Anyways, that was a whole other shebang.
That was really good.
No, but I like the way I like the way you put that.
I appreciate it.
A question I asked Cody Place, so I ask you too. How do you kind of separate the chase for your own creative ambition as an independent artist versus kind of like the constraints of what is commercialized music to try to fit in and quote unquote make a name for yourself?
Oh,
Or,
dude, I've completely let go. I last year I was really trying to like chase like placements for like, making like hip hop beats and trying to get on with like rappers or singers or whatever, like collaborate with like larger producers and all that. I think I'm just at that point now where it's like I wanna be happy. And I think that when you get older, you kind of, and not that I don't have a lot of years on me now, but I mean just in general, like older can be like a matter of a few weeks or a few months. The more time that I spend on this planet, the more I think like what makes me happy, like that's all your trajectory for that is always going to change. So yeah, to that I would say I don't think there's much holding me back now. Now used to I would think about that. I'd be like, oh, like is this gonna be a hit, or is this, should I do this and that, and should I market it in this way? And now it's like I just can't, like I can't force myself to do that. I don't, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. My goal in my mind, I would like to make a living off of music one day, and I don't mean like I don't need to be driving like Lamborghinis and like mansions. I don't even have to be half of that. I'd say, dude, if I can get me a little house and I've got a little Jetta outside, and if I can get that paid off, and if I can drive a car and have like a little house to live in and some food to eat, like all from creating music, I'll be happy as a duck in some water, dude. But like that doesn't, anything further than that is just stupid to me. I don't like to, it's like choking yourself back to like, oh, this is what I want to say, but I can't. I feel like there's a ton of people like that though, where it's like it's that position where you've got like managers and labels and yada yada yada. It's like, but yeah, no, honestly, that doesn't really cross my mind too much anymore, thankfully. It used to plague me a lot, but now it's like I just keep it to myself. Like 90% of the stuff that I've made never gets released, is like never going to get released. I'm trying to fix that. I want to put out a lot of stuff this year. But yeah, it's whatever happens. I do it. I want to gift wrap stuff. I want to make stuff look nice and like have a consistent sound and have a everything be pretty congruent. But I just do that for me. I like that because I think it's pretty. It's like, look at this album and it's all the same genre, and look at the cute little cover art. But I don't do that like for the sake of like commercial accessibility. I just do it because it's like it feels cool to be my own fan, which sounds like super egotistical, but it just cool to like pull up Spotify and be like, oh, dude, that's me. Like, look at that, dude. I'll stream my own music, doggone it.
To be fair, if you're not going to be a fan yourself, how can you expect anybody else to be a fan?
And
Of
then
you?
it feels good. Like, who's this? And I'm like,
So wait a minute.
It's trash.
I think
Oh
that's
wait,
me.
that's not.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Exactly.
to ask, I talk to a lot of artists and ask them a similar question, and I feel like a lot of people struggle with, maybe you can call it imposter syndrome, or just like the need to like, how do I get my music out there to people? What kind of helped you free yourself from that thought process?
Living life. You wake up and you experience every day, and I think that you have to, there's a duality to the way that you live, and this part kind of doesn't have a whole lot to do with art, but it'll definitely tie in here at the end. Is it's like you have to realize that you have to treat life like everything matters. Everything that you do, you have to be gentle and deal with such care because everything matters. But then you have to realize on the other side of the same coin that like there's very few things in life that do matter. I think that's what did it for me. Is it's like you have to have fun with it. You have to be meticulous and you have to be tedious, and you want to work. You want to work at what you want in life. But then it's, for me, it's like I've got a few things, man. I've got, God first, and my family, and being, in touch with myself and in touch with how I'm feeling, and I want to, emotionally get to learn like what in life makes me feel fulfilled, and then all the other stuff just kind of dissipates. It's like, wait a minute. Like, I'm a human being on this earth. Like, do you know how blessed I am to wake up every day and we're on planet Earth, dude, and we're living in the place we are and the time that we are. Every day is an opportunity. Like, I don't have to worry about like where my food comes from. I have a roof over my head. Like, there's so many things like I never ever want to take for granted. And it's like, and here I am worrying about how many views I got on that reel on Instagram. Are you freaking kidding me, dude? Like, it's so, honestly, I think it's just that. It's like, and going through hard times can help that too. Or if you're like in some form of like misery over like a person or a thing or an opportunity or whatever, and it really like forces you to just kind of zoom out that lens, and it's like there's life will give you a reason to feel deeply, so don't trip over like You know what I mean? It's this song didn't perform as well as, oh gosh, this genre isn't popular right now, but it's all I know how to make. Well, then just make it. What are you gonna die because you made a metalcore song and it's not 2008 anymore? Like, big deal. Do what makes you happy. For the love of everything in the world, bro. Do something that makes you happy every day. Like, that's how you find. Literally, bro. This is the cheat code, boys and girls. Is like, if you are in touch with God, and then in turn you're in touch with yourself, and you get to know yourself, and you can wake up every day and do something that you love. That's the joy that can't be taken away from you. That's when you start caring, is when you can find something that means more to you than the validation of something else. Then you get it internal. Then it's, I don't care who doesn't like me today or what happens today. I can go home and I can make my 2008 metalcore or whatever, and I don't have to worry about it. Oh, I only got 100 views on TikTok. Well, that's fine, because that's 100 people who like you for you, and that's way better than 100,000 who don't know what they
Exactly.
want. You know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
Shout out
yeah.
metalcore.
Shout out metalcore.
Shout out, man. And I was talking to Jake about it as we started posting more and more on Instagram, and it's like, I want our posts to be quintessential, the things we kind of stand for, and like the
Mhm.
truest form of yourself or the thing we're
Mhm.
trying to chase. And it was like, I remember I posted something and I took it right down because I'm like, I'm posting just to say like, oh, we were consistent.
Mhm.
We posted, 4 days this week. Now I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, but what does this bring value? Does this bring the message we're trying to push to anybody? Or is
Mhm.
it just there to be there for people to look at and get some type of validation from? And I'm like, we're not doing this to validate for validation. We're doing this to kind of like help other people, lead them to the place they want to be
Right.
true to themselves.
Mhm.
Mm.
100%. 100%.
Going into just kind of in the music journey that you had, like when was like that moment that you started really seeing things take off, like the actual like full on DJ software, the whole turntables and going out to like the concerts and
Oh
performing out
man,
there?
I
Like
don't
when did
even.
that really?
Oh, dude, I don't really even know if it ever like took off, because the way that I go home, it's like nobody really like knows who I am. Like, I don't think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, whenever I'm chilling out in my room at night, just chilling, scrolling on my phone or playing. Like, I don't think anybody's thinking about Smooth Lettuce. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I guess when I realize like this is something that I want to, like, if I keep at it, like, this is something.
Yeah,
Hey, I think it's starting to catch,
you're
like, with a
seeing
select handful of people.
yeah
Okay,
more progress.
like a couple of years ago, because I've been this January was 6 years since I started producing, which is like kind of not a lot of time, but kind of a whole ton of time, like, simultaneously, because I started when I
Hmm.
was 15, 14, 15. I'm 21 years old now. Anywho, I started like January 2019, and yeah, I guess like 2022, 2023. I guess that's when I first started getting like loosely involved, like, in the whole like Pensacola music scene or whatever, and then that's when that's when it was kind of cool, because then you see people other than like people that you went to school with who like listen to it. It's like, oh wait, you're telling me like there's people like that I don't know, and they'll go out and we can connect through music. That's kind of sick. So I guess that's kind of what I was like. Oh
Mm.
snap! This can be a cool little thing. I can get used to that. But
Any albums or stuff yet?
oh, dude.
Well, I remember you mentioned was it electronic EP that you re-released?
Yeah, it's re-released. Shout out to Play Soul. You know what I'm saying? Play Soul, Play Soul.
Play Soul. We talked some earlier, which they'll
We'll edit
probably
that part
see.
where I mispronounced it. But
But
it's not
they'll probably see his interview before they see this one. But
right on.
he was talking about how he got his name by, he always wanted to play out in the sun. So soul is a reference to the sun, and not necessarily the soul, but that's how he got that
Right
name.
on. Yeah, so because shout out to Play Soul, because we're gonna be working to remaster that EP. Any album, it's a weird format for me, man, because I love the idea of like putting out an album like as a complete body of work. Like I said, it's cool to have everything congruent and compatible with one another, wrapped up in a nice little gift bow. But I feel like it kind of jacks with my workflow whenever I try to do an album or an EP for some reason, because I'm working on multiple things at once and I want them all finished at the same time.
Mm.
So honestly, after I re-release this EP, I probably see myself doing singles, and maybe like at the end of the year, I'll wrap it up and turn it into an album. Like, that's what I did with that EP, like I was talking about. That was produced and released throughout the entirety of 2023. And then on December, I want to say it was like 15th of 2023, it's like tail end of the year. That's when I put everything out as an EP. All of those songs have been heard before, though. I just repackaged it and kind of, I would add like a couple transitions between songs or a little bit of ear candy and then just like repackage it. This is the EP, but like really I've been working on it before I knew it was going to be an EP. So I see myself repeating that again this year, yeah. I see myself putting out a lot of songs, but what form they're going to take by the time it's over, I don't know. This is the gift and the curse of like internet music releasing is that you can release something, take it down, edit it, re-release it, and still have your same stats, like your streams and everything. I do that all the time. I don't think there's been one song ever where I've like put it up and that's the final. Dude, I will always go back and like make little edits, like add little things or whatever, and like put it back out. So I don't know if I ever see myself stopping that. I would like to stop that just so I don't have to think about like old material. I can just move on to new material. But I'm sure there's going to be releases, takedowns, re-releases, and repackages all throughout this year until I can hopefully wrap up something and as a body of work, an album or an EP or something by the end of this year. So that was like a super long-winded answer to your question.
No, that's good. That's good.
But yeah.
Some of these are, there are a lot of really broad. But
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
We like to keep
Appreciate
it
you.
open-ended. Kind of
Right
let
on.
you explore the question.
Right on. There you go.
Any dream concerts that you want to be in?
Well, I'm going to one of them. Thank the Lord, man. You know, this is March, the end of March, Ultra Music Festival, Skrillex, and he's my favorite artist of all time. So I can't believe I'm gonna see Skrillex. Knife Party's gonna be there. Pendulum, Deadmau5.
That's cool.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be gnarly. I'd say between that, System of a Down is my favorite band ever. I would love to see, and close second, if not tied, for my favorite band ever from first to last. So if I can ever see From First to Last in concert, I'd love to. Playboy Cardi, you know, I've seen Carson. That was another dream concert. Got to do that last November, so that's chill. For the people that I haven't seen, yeah, From First to Last, Seosin, System of a Down. I don't know if I'm gonna get this. Robert Smith, keep exercising and staying and keep the blood flowing because I need to see The Cure live sometime in my life. I need to see The Cure. But I don't think they're going to come anywhere near here. I think the closest they got was like Atlanta. Man, you got me thinking now. Yeah, The Cure. That's probably about where it is. Cure, System of a Down, From First to Last. That's my top three. And Cardi.
Any dream concerts for you as a DJ, like performing wise?
Is that what that question meant? And I just took it the totally opposite. Well, cool.
But
We got the 2 for 1.
Yeah,
Dude. Oh my gosh. No. So truthfully, Vinyl Music Hall. That's been my dream venue since I started. I'm not even like literally, dude. I would love to like, cause I don't want to get like super super big, to be honest with you. I like to have like a chill little like underground following, but I don't really know if I'm like the main stage type. We'll see how that goes, you know. But vinyl music. I remember I was in the car like with my parents, you know, like 8, 9, 10 years old, whatever. Like just driving through downtown Pensacola, and I always remember like just how pretty that venue looked like from the outside and on the inside too. Obviously, but I didn't go to any shows because I was like, you know, yay big. But yeah, and I would look by and it's like, that's a cool place, like downtown Pensacola. That seems like a cool place to be. So that's always been like, if I can play a show at the Vinyl, even just like as an opener, I would literally like be bawling, crying. Like that's the one. That's the one for me, man. Vinyl
might
music.
be able to get that to work,
dude. Yeah, or even or like
I think it might happen before you even know it, honestly.
dude. That'd be I would freak out. That or Lagunas on the Beach is a y'all know Lagunas on.
Yeah, I've been to a concert there. It was like 12 degrees outside.
Dude,
at
yeah.
like 1 a.m. It was
I
terrible.
love to play. That's
Music
another,
was good though.
Dude, yeah, that's another. I would probably cry if I had to do a DJ set on Pensacola Beach. I'd probably cry. Yeah, I really like where I'm from, so that's honestly, yeah. My dream concert is anywhere that's like quintessential, no pun intended, to like the area that I'm at. So, shout out Vinyl Music Hall, shout out Lagunas. I'd love to play more at Subculture. I've played there once. I'd love to play again. I'd like to play at the Handlebar. I don't know if they do a whole lot of electronic shows, but anybody affiliated with the Handlebar, if you're watching this, at Smooth Lettuce on Instagram, give me a message. I'll show you abilities beyond your farthest comprehension. No,
Have you ever thought about throwing your own show?
Yeah, and I've done it one time, kind of like a little pop-up Not really. I mean, me and my homie pulled up like downtown and just plugged it into one of the random things. But I don't know if I'd ever really count that as a show. But I'd like to throw my own show sometime. I just need people. That's all I need. I mean, go figure. That's all anybody needs. But like, it's more people. But I would love to. If like any DJ homies, if we can have like a good setup and just go out somewhere and throw a pop up show, I would love to do that. And matter of fact, me and shout out my homie Surreal. He's a DJ from around here, just kind of getting started in the scene, and we're hoping, since we're already going to be in Miami for Ultra Music Festival, we're hoping somewhere like downtown Miami or Miami Beach, like throwing a pop up the day before Ultra Music Festival starts. I don't know how well it's gonna, because I don't know how to like go to the city and like get permits or anything like that. All I know how to do is find a plug in a wall to plug some decks and a speaker into. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how this might be like a 5-minute DJ set before security comes and gets us on out of there, man. But maybe a pop up in Miami. That just sounds cool.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I say go for it. Um, That's the same question to Cody, but what advice would you give younger you, whether 10 years ago or 15 years ago?
Mm, there's so many different directions for this one. Like don't don't speak as often, listen more, and don't think about like whatever you're consciously giving thought and consciously giving like worrying about. Stop. If there's any energy that you're putting into something you can't control, stop. Like do what you're doing. Like go hard on whatever it is. Like whatever passion you got, go hard on it. And all that stuff that you were worried about did not matter. Like at all. You're, oh, and you have swag now. Like the whole like the pomp like whenever you had the pompadour with like the thick rectangular glasses and you were wearing like button up shirts with like little donut stuff and high shorts. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's a lot of people that rock that type of look. I was not one of those people. You dude, you know what I'm saying? You found your style now. That's kind of chill. And do some push-ups. You're little. You're like 130 pounds, sopping wet. It's not a whole lot better now, but it's a little bit better, dude. Like, straight up, man. Like, eat more meat and, like, lift a weight. Like, something to kind of get you. And then maybe you wouldn't be tripping over everything all the time. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Well, Smooth Lettuce, I appreciate you for being here, and I appreciate you for being yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yep. That has been Quintessential Conversations. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, keep it quintessential.
Keep it that way.